In the Emerald City, game 3 of 4 here at Safeco Field between the Rangers and the Mariners as we welcome you back. And it could be the penultimate game of Adrian Beltre's playing career. Hard to think about, but perhaps true. And when you look at the career that Adrian has put together, it has been something special. And Rangers fans have had a front row seat for the last 8 seasons. He is in our Shiner spotlight, and in terms of cycles, he is among, of course, baseball's best. 3 cycles in his career, tied for the most in Major League Baseball history with Long John Riley, Bob Mazel, and Babe Herman. I asked Adrian today if he had heard of any of those names or knew what he had in common with those guys, and he said, are those aliases? He thought maybe those were pseudonyms or pseudo names that guys went by back in the day, or maybe even current day. Needless to say, it had been quite some time since a player hit for the cycle 3 times in his career, more than 80 years to be exact. Adrian Beltre once again in exclusive company. The records continue to be shattered. The accolades continue to come in as this 20-plus year Major League career perhaps comes to a close. Here in Seattle, it has been something to behold over the last 8 seasons in Texas. The joy that he has brought this fan base and vice versa, according to Adrian, is something real and something that will be missed if indeed this is the second to last game of his Major League career. Only time will tell, and only Adrian knows. We'll tell you where he is in that starting lineup and have the first pitch from Safeco when we return.
Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale.
Well, just about set to go tonight. This Saturday evening here at Safeco Field. What a beautiful sky above as we take a look at our Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Jurickson Profar will lead things off for the Rangers today at third base. Odor at second, Andrews at short. Beltre, the DH, bats cleanup. Mazzara in right field. Ryan Rule gets a start at first. He bats sixth. It's Kiner Falefa catching. Carlos Tocci in left field tonight. And Delano DeShields in center rounds it out.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Shiner pitch arsenal for James Paxton, the lefty going tonight for the Seattle Mariners. Very simple pitch mix here. It's the four-seam fastball, 64 percent of the time you get the curveball, 22%, that cutter at 14%, and that cutter has been a devastating pitch. Just a 146 batting average against for hitters, 69 strikeouts on the cutter this year for Paxton. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the defense for the Mariners, which is sponsored by Jack in the Box tonight. Denard Span, D. Gordon, and Mitch Haniger in the outfield for Scott Services Club. And in the infield, Kyle Seager, Gene Segura, Robinson Cano, Daniel Vogelbach, and Mike Zunino is doing the catching.
All right, so we are ready to go. Rangers looking forward to putting yesterday in the rearview mirror, a 12-6 loss here in Seattle to even the series at a game apiece. And the first pitch from Paxton, right in there for strike one. We'll get started an hour earlier tonight. And then tomorrow, it'll be bright and shiny out here. We will get after it right around noon local time, 2 o'clock back home. Now it's 67 degrees here this evening with that first pitch.
Guaranteeing bright and shiny here in Seattle in late September there, Dave Raines?
Absolutely.
Maybe Dave Freeze. Be your weatherman man.
It's a swing and a miss. Profar strikes out, and there is one away. So there's Paxton. That is strikeout number 200 for the season for him. In fact, our Kubota Power stats tonight for John Paxton, or James Paxton rather. His brother John.
Yeah, he didn't strike out anybody this year.
He is the 6th pitcher in club history with 200 strikeouts in a season. Now, in terms of left-handers in Mariners history, Randy Johnson, Mark Langston, Floyd Bannister. They all did it. Last left-hander to do it, though, was Randy Johnson in 1998. So it's been a while. Paxton's 1-0, and Odor grounds this one just past second base. And out there into right center field, a base hit.
A good job by Rougned Odor, and this has been an interesting trend for James Paxton. He's got the live arm, pretty good pitch down and away. You should see that high leg kick from Ruge, who does a nice job of finding a hole on the right side of the infield. The shift, call that one a shift beater for sure. Would have been a routine ground ball, but Ruge finds a way to beat that shift. But what's so interesting about that for me, you look at Paxton, live arm, pretty nasty stuff. Lefties coming into this one, hitting .330 against him. OPS of 886 compared to 199 against righties with an OPS of just 616. That is a significant difference now. 20 home runs against righties and just 3 to lefties, but the OPS significantly higher, which got me really curious to think about the difference. Right? Are we talking about 131 points?
Right.
So that's got to be near the top. Not quite, but pretty close. As far as guys having some real different splits. And especially when you think about a left-handed pitcher having that high in numbers against left-handed batters.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking a delta that large and on reverse splits, that seems really unusual.
I will say, since we just talked about the cutter and how often he uses it, how important it is, could be the reason. Right, the cutter is not necessarily a great swing and miss pitch to lefties. It's a really good pitch to get in on righties. It's more of a contact pitch, and certainly with contact, more opportunities, obviously, for base hits. That may be the reason.
Andrews swings and misses. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Paxton. Well, Adrian Beltre to the plate now, our WinStar World Casino and Resort leaderboard. Adrian Beltre, 199 home runs as a Ranger. I mean, he can't go these last 2 games without getting the one needed to get over or get to the 200 plateau. I mean, it has to happen. So Paxton gets the first one in there for a strike. He's had good numbers against Paxton in his career. 9 for 17 against him with a home run. one in the dirt. It's 1-1. It translates to a .529 batting average in his career against the big left-hander. 15 homers this year for Beltre, .272 average. And he turns it foul for strike 2.
And not surprising to see Adrian have those kind of numbers, especially because of that all-field swing that he has for left-handers, probably more often than not, trying to work him away. We saw it last night. Adrian still got that good opposite field power. He can drive it the other way.
1-2. And that is inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. When Paxton gets to 2 strikes, the Maple Grove down beyond the right field foul pole, they stand up and they start chanting K. And they hold up their little signs and
do they say K?
A? They say A.
Weren't they in left field last year?
They were. They were up in the bleachers up there. This one hammered out to right center, and it is off the top of the fence. Odor around third. He's being waved. Here comes the relay throw. It's way offline, and Odor scores on the Beltre double. He'll go to third on the throwing error by Cano, and that just missed getting out of here.
Well, right on cue for Adrian Beltre, as he talked about his ability to still drive the ball with authority to the opposite field. You get a look at the pitch here, trying to go up, and they got it up. But look at Adrian stay inside of this thing, and as you mentioned, almost got it out of the ballpark. Would have given him that second 100 home run you were looking for, but he'll certainly take the double and the RBI. Good base running from Rougned Odor, and as good as Robinson Cano is, the mistake he made there, see how stiff his back foot wasn't moving at all. You're always taught when you're taking that throw for a relay to keep your feet moving, shuffle along with the ball. He tried to throw that from a still position, and that's why it was way offline.
So now Mazzara, and he takes down the dirt. So a double and an error. Maz lately has been driving the ball a little bit. 12 of his last 20 hits have gone for extra bases. Still stuck on 20 home runs though. I'm wondering if he'll get a new career high. Check swing. And no, he did not check it up. He went around, and that is strike 2. Nomar with 20 home runs his rookie season in 2016, 20 home runs last year. And once again, sitting right at that same number. Don Wakamatsu was asked today about the thumb injury for Nomar, and if he feels like it has affected maybe how Nomar's been able to, drive the baseball in this second half. And he said, yeah, I think it's impacted him a lot. he didn't mince words. He's like, yeah, I think it's been a tough injury for him, and it's made a big difference.
Well, not surprising, but Nomar's done a good job of trying to power through that the best that he can. But if that thumb's not 100%, the pain that you feel, especially when you get jammed on a pitch.
Strike 3 called. He goes down looking. Paxton strikes out the side in the first, but Adrian Beltre spoiled the party. A double off the wall just to the right of center field, and the Rangers have the first run of the night. come to bat for the first time. Let's take a look at their starting lineup. Mitch Haniger striding to the plate, leading it off in right field. Gene Segura at short, Robinson Cano at second base. Middle of the order has Cruz, Span, and Seager. And then Daniel Vogelback at first. Zunino catching. D. Gordon getting a start in center field, rounds it out. And all that against Adrian Sampson. Makes his fourth start with the Rangers. 0-2 record, a 4.96 ERA. And his first pitch right in there for a strike.
For Sampson, he's got to be thrilled probably with that first inning run. Run support for him so far, and it's been limited. 16 1/3 innings, 1.7. The Rangers have scored just 3 runs for Adrian so far this season.
Keeps ahead here, 0-2. Well, local boy returning home, and really excited to be pitching here in his hometown. 26 years old, came up with the Mariners. Made his first big league start in Mariners uniform. And bounces that one up there for ball 1. Then while warming up for his second major league start in Detroit, came up injured in the bullpen just before the start of the game, and ended up having surgery and missing a significant amount of time before the Rangers eventually picked him up and made his way back. Called up this year and now making his 4th start of the season.
And so the first time in his career when he's pitching in this ballpark, which is pretty cool for him. I heard him doing a radio interview here locally yesterday. Pretty excited about it as far as the folks that'll be here to see him, and what a treat it would be if he could get his first big league win here at Safeco.
Yeah, he gets a strikeout of Mitch Haniger to start things tonight.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the pitch arsenal for Adrian Sampson. What we've seen from him so far: 2-seam fastball 56% of the time. Got the slider, the changeup. Every once in a while you'll see a curveball as well, and that fastball averages 91 miles an hour. The curveball really doesn't use it very much. Has been a pretty good swing and miss pitch for him, as has the slider. 41% whiff rate on that slider. About 8% better than league average.
Well, first offering to Segura, lined out to right field. That's a base hit. The Mariners had their first base runner of the night.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by the Texas Department of Transportation. Carlos Tocci, Delano DeShields, and Nomar Mazara in the outfield this evening. And in the infield for the Rangers, you're going to get Jurickson Profar, Elvis Andrus, Rugen Odor, Ryan Rua, who's getting a start at first, and it's Isaiah Kiner-Falefa behind the plate.
Now Robinson Cano, left-handed hitter. Segura over at first base. Segura can run a little bit. First pitch on the way. Cano takes strike 1. 304 average, you just saw. 10 home runs for Cano. Missed 80 games this year due to the suspension for violation of Major League Baseball's drug policy. And when you recreate this 2018 season for the Mariners, now they played real well right after he was suspended. They continued on a pretty good tear. But you can't help but wonder how big an impact that had on what was overall a very good start for this team. It looked as if they might break a long stretch of missing the postseason. I mean, he's, by all accounts, Cano, a top player in the league.
Without a doubt. I think the psychological part of that as well, why he missed the time, had to weigh on the club a little bit. They did okay at first when he was missing some time, and then they really did start to struggle. And there's no two ways about it. That is not a bat that you can replace in Robinson Cano.
Swings and misses here, strikes out for the second out of the inning.
Good job here by Adrian Sampson to climb the ladder a little bit. You see the fastball, the late movement, pretty well located, and Robinson Cano can't catch up.
Well, we've seen 5 outs recorded in this game by these 2 starting pitchers, all of them on strikeouts.
Well, not only that, but this inning has started out exactly the same way it started out for the Rangers. Swinging strikeout, base hit, swinging strikeout. Now what can happen is Nelson Cruz can't hit a double here and drive in Gene Segura. That'd be too weird, really.
It would be pretty strange. This ball hit well, though. out to left field. And that one carrying back to the 376 marker and caught just in front of the fence by Tochi. Well, Cruz just missed that double, and maybe even a little more. We go to the second inning, 1-0 Rangers. One nothing our score. And it's not too early to start looking ahead to next year. Opening day featuring the Chicago Cubs at Globe Life Park. You become a 2019 season ticket holder today. That guarantees your opening day tickets. Full and half season ticket plans available. And you can check it out now, TexasRangers.com/seasons. Well, Ryan Rua leads things off here in the second inning. Rua getting the start at first base. And Paxton jumps ahead of him 0-2. Paxton with 3 strikeouts in the first inning. But did allow the run. Single by Odor, the double by Beltre. And he strikes out Rua on 3 pitches to start the second inning.
Let's go ahead and get to our big story of the day, and it involves home runs. And also the New York Yankees. The expectations were pretty high this year for the Yankees and their ability to drive the ball out of the ballpark with the acquisition of Giancarlo Stanton. And everyone thought this was going to be a big year. There's Stanton. I don't know if you saw this, by the way. After he hit this home run, the fan that caught it threw it in and hit him as he was running around the bases. That guy right there threw the ball in, and it hit Stanton as he was coming around second base. I don't think, I mean, listen, there's no way he had any intent of that happening. But a pretty big moment for the Yankees as they set a record for most home runs in a season. And think about how much time Judge missed. And they were still able to do it.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Kiner Falefa.
So what do you think the proper punishment is for that guy?
I was going to say that has to be dealt with, right?
Oh, without a doubt. And it was clear as day who it was, and they got to the guy.
0-2. And this ball sharply down the left field line, foul.
Take a look at this here for the Yankees and their historic day. 264 home runs, 1997 by the Seattle Mariners. Junior had 56 that year. Now you see what the Yankees did as a ball club. Pretty impressive. My thing is, I think, you know, they have those jails like in each stadium.
Right.
You bring them down there and you give them an opportunity, you give them a choice. We're going to arrest you, and we're going to take you in front of a judge, and he's going to make a decision, possibly assault. Could spend some time in jail. Or Giancarlo Stanton's going to come here and spend 10 minutes with you in this prison, and we're going to walk away. Which one you taking?
I'll take the time with Giancarlo because
really,
I'm sure he's a man of understanding, and that would be, I mean, that would be too great a reward to hang out and chat with Giancarlo.
Maybe he gets you a signed jersey.
This one rolled slowly to shortstop. Segura, good job to get to the baseball, but has no play. Kiner Falefa with an infield hit.
I really love your faith in humanity. It's really positive and
now,
uplifting.
If you're going to say we will give Giancarlo 10 minutes, a bucket of baseballs, and he's going to hit fungos right at you.
Ooh.
And you've got, 5 feet to either side where you can try and dodge them. That becomes interesting.
It does. I just spent 10 minutes in the jail cell and the cops were walking away.
Yeah,
we'll be back.
You don't think he wouldn't hurt anybody. Here's Tochi. And Tochi takes a strike. When I saw the replay, and I've only seen it about 100 times, that guy throwing the ball, like, that shoulder's going to hurt for a while.
Oh, yeah.
He wound up and chucked that thing with everything he could muster.
It looked like he was in a mosh pit.
And I guarantee you that something hurts after that throw.
I would agree with that. It was pretty impressive. I will give him that. I mean, you figure 90 feet from first to second. So from second to that wall is another, 220 or more. It was a good long toss.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer would have been proud of that long toss.
Tochi sends this one down toward the right field corner, slicing into that corner, just foul. Well, that looked like a lot of trouble off the bat. With the count 0-2. Tochi, how about this? Our TXU Energy power player to watch tonight. He's hitting .387 in his last 16 games. He's doubled, tripled, walked a handful of times, and we've said it on more than one occasion since the All-Star break. He just seems to have figured a few things out offensively.
He's also doing that with sporadic playing time, I think, which makes it even more impressive. Important for him to finish the season strong, and he's doing it.
0-2. This one popped up into the seats.
I don't think we were exactly sure how this year was going to go for Carlos Tochi, where he was going to play. And whenever you have a Rule 5 pick on your roster, whether or not they can survive the whole season. Remember last year the Rangers had Mike Hochschild, the right-handed pitcher, lasted just a few weeks before the Rangers needed that roster spot. And it's easier to hide a pitcher than it is a position player, but he hung in there and paying some dividends here lately.
Another foul ball, and Tochi extends the at-bat. Well, one of the more competitive at-bats so far against James Paxton, who has 4 strikeouts as far this evening. Paxton, the big left-hander, 6'4", 235 pounds. Grew up in nearby British Columbia. Check first in the 0-2 pitch, and a swing and a foul tip. So Tochi stays alive. They call Paxton the Big Maple, and his nicknames go. It's not bad. I kind of like it. And then those fans can all chant A when he gets to 2 strikes. The Maple Grove, and there's a swing and a miss, his 5th strikeout tonight.
The Mariners have not recorded an out in the field yet. They haven't had to use their defense, at least as far as getting any outs, as you see this breaking ball down in the dirt and Carlos Tochi unable to lay off of it.
There's your maple leaf right there. The left arm, or the right arm of Paxton. Runs that one right on the inside corner for a strike to Delino DeShields.
This is kind of the season that they have been waiting for from James Paxton. 27 starts. This is number 28. He set a career high last year at 24. Injuries have been a real issue for him. So to see him healthy is an encouraging sign. Still only 154 innings though. Coming into this one.
You know, it's a. You're right. It's been a little sorts of, I don't know if frustration is the right word or not, but I just feel like unfulfilled potential with him because he hasn't been able to log quite the number of innings. I mean, he missed a couple of weeks with pneumonia this month. And he bounces it up to the plate. 1-2 on DeShields. That cost him a couple of starts.
Lower back inflammation earlier in the year. So I guess that's July. Left forearm contusion. That's just this year alone. And he set a career high in starts.
Yeah. The type of guy who could be a real foundation of a great rotation. This one sent out to right center field, drops in, base hit. Kiner Falefa heads to third. He'll stop there. Second hit of the inning. The Rangers have him on the corners here.
Good job here by Delino to fight off this pitch from James Paxton. Mentioned how tough he has been against right-handed hitters. It's a pretty well-located pitch, but Delino's able to get out in front of it a little bit, muscle that thing into right field. And nice job by Isaiah Kiner Falefa to get himself to third. So another opportunity here for the Rangers to get on the board.
Well, it's Profar's second look at Paxton tonight. Profar struck out in the first inning. And hits this one straight up in the air. Out to shallow center field. Oh, actually out toward right field, as the case may be. And it's Haniger who comes across to make the catch. You're right. D. Gordon had no clue where that baseball was. We've played 1.5. Rangers lead 1-0. Second here in Seattle. Beautiful night. All right, it's not a trick question, CJ. What's the #1 Rangers app?
That would be the MLB at-bat app, Dave.
Correct. And you can customize your experience. You can take advantage of great features like the MLB.TV game of the day. It's all very easy. Download MLB at bat today. You can take selfies. I don't know if you can take selfies with that app. Little bunt out in front of the plate. Sampson barehands, throws to first in time, and takes care of Denard Span for the first out here in the second inning. Span trying to surprise attack Sampson there, but it didn't work.
Yeah, very calm, cool, and collected here was Adrian Sampson. No panic at all in him as he was able to get to this ball in plenty of time. Makes a good throw. A little bit easier for a righty than a lefty.
All right, so one out. And Kyle Seager now. Seager batting 6th in the order. And you see that note there, the 25 career home runs against the Rangers. Second most among active players. And if you have to ask who #1 is, you may not have been paying very close attention. Chris Davis of the Oakland A's has hit 1,000. But
it'll be tough for Seager to catch him.
Yeah, it is. But Seager, as great as his career numbers have been, has not had a huge year against the Rangers this year. And Sampson wants to make sure that that continues to be true. 1-1 the count.
It's been an off year for him, but as much as we've talked about Nomar Mazara, Joey Gallo getting robbed by the shift, nobody in the American League has been robbed more than Seager this year. It's not just about getting robbed. He's had other struggles as well, but he has been victim of the shift. You see the Rangers here putting that shift on the left-handed hitting Seager.
Well, a ball and 2 strikes here. Look at these numbers in 16 games this year, a 169 average. And there's strike 3 called. Admittedly a close pitch, but Seager thinking that one might have been off the plate. Instead, a strikeout victim.
Let's take a look at the pitch. Trying to go up and away, and they did. And he really didn't miss his spot by much. Now, that late movement that you see there is probably what Kyle Seager believed took that pitch out of the zone. But Adrian Sampson will certainly take it. Now, he's shown that against the lefties, right? Did it to Robinson Cano, right there to Kyle Seager, as far as trying to finish those lefties off with the fastball up and away.
And Vogelbach sends this one out to center field and right into Delano DeShield's glove. The inning is done. A 1-2-3 second inning. As we head to the third, it's the Rangers up 1-0.
Day and night.
Pike Place Market. Hey, Lowell's. See that little sign there? Lowell's?
Yep.
Good breakfast joint.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't go in the market. It's probably a mistake on my part.
Well, yeah.
And you can't, I walked around. And on a weekend, when the weather is this nice, it's a little crowded.
It does get crazy. Yeah. Well, 2 innings in, and we go to the third. And it'll be Odor, Andrews, and Beltre.
Wasn't this a Ranger destination last year?
I think it was, yeah.
Oh, it's a good one.
Was it maybe even earlier this year?
Could have been. That's right. Might have been early. But it's a good one. If you get a chance, if you're wanting to watch the Rangers and trying to pick out some cities, this would be one that I would highly recommend. Dave Raymond always has a little extra room in his hotel. If you need a place to crash. 2-bedroom suite.
You do, yeah. There's always plenty of room. 1 ball, 1 strike to Odor, who singled in the first and has scored the game's only run. Paxton's 1-1 pitch. One outside. Well, Odor continues to put together good at bats. 24 consecutive plate appearances now without a strikeout, and that's the longest streak right now in the American League.
The work, the time, the patience, it has all paid off for the position, offensively and defensively. Tough year for him last year. A little bit of a slow start to this one, but he continued to work on the things that he wanted to work on, what he believed in, that process. As much as we throw that word around and sometimes get frustrated, he had a plan. He did not get away from it after the slow start, and the results have been here at the end of the year.
Oh, line shot snared by Seager near third base. That ball hit particularly well. Seager, but for the oddity of the shift, would never have been in that position. But there he was, one away.
Tough break for Rugi. This is a really nice at-bat against a tough lefty. Try to take him the other way, but Seager's a good defensive third baseman. It's been a down year for him, but he does a nice job over there, and he was in the right place at the right time.
It's amazing. You know, the shift designed for a guy like Odor who pulls it on the right side of the infield, and it's, you know, it's built to prevent him from yanking the ball with power for extra bases. And for 120, 130 years, that swing and result just a second ago would have been a base hit every time.
Hit 96 miles an hour. The hit probability was 67%. I might say it is even a little bit higher.
One ball, one strike on Andrews. Paxton with 5 strikeouts so far tonight. Andrews, one of those victims, and the count 1-2.
Paxton almost uses that cutter like a changeup. Backdoor with some downward action on it.
There's the 1-2. And that's a little tight. 96 miles per hour with that fastball. You suppose you have to be Canadian to get into the Maple Grove and chant A?
They'll let you in if you can fake
a
little Canadian accent a little bit. I think that increases your chances, but they seem pretty open to allowing the movement to grow.
(3-2). And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Well, that's a 6th strikeout tonight now for Paxton. All right, Adrian Beltre now doubled in the first inning and drove in the only run of this game so far. And when you think of the lists and the guys that he has passed this year in the various categories in doubles, he's only passed 2. Hank Aaron and David Ortiz, both phenomenal hitters. And Beltre hammers this ball out to center field. D. Gordon got a late start, but got to it anyway, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning. 2.5 innings in, it's 1-0. A lot going on, and that was a really late flurry of runs for the Dodgers to win that one today. But there's still plenty to be decided on the final day of the season.
Well, we know the teams. We just don't know exactly where they're going to be. And so right now in the NLDS, you got the Colorado Rockies and the Braves, and it looks like the wild card, at least as of now, would be the Dodgers and the Brewers.
And the Brewers. Now the Dodgers could still win the division.
Yeah.
And so it's.
And so could the Brewers.
Yep. No, that's a very good point too. Yeah.
So I mean, it could easily be the Rockies and the Cubs in the wild card game. It could be the Dodgers and the Cubs in the wild card game.
Well, the only team that knows anything about where they will be the Atlanta Braves.
Yep. And now the Cardinals.
Sadly for the Cardinals, yes. 1-2. And that one a little high.
There is the potential for 2 games on Monday. One at 1 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock to decide the divisions. 2 divisions could be not decided tomorrow. That'd be incredible.
Broken bat, little hopper back to the mound, and Sampson wisely will not throw it. Zunino with an infield hit, and I think Sampson might have had his attention split between that whirling barrel of the bat and the baseball.
Well, probably a pun intended by you, and I think you're absolutely right, because the idea of seeing that thing come barreling at you, another pun intended, but a really nice play, or I shouldn't say that, but a really difficult play, and a nice recovery to try to make a tough play. It's just so difficult because you panic for a second and you see that thing helicoptering at you, and you're kind of seeing the ball, but you're really more concerned about your life. And once you realize you're safe, you go after the ball, but the idea of having the concentration to be able to catch it cleanly, really difficult to do.
So Zunino aboard, and D. Gordon the hitter. Gordon takes inside for ball 1. 268 average for Gordon. You see the 36 infield hits. He's very, very quick. On base this year for Gordon, 288, and that is not good.
He has really struggled. He just doesn't walk. Right? What is he at? 9 walks for the year. He is going to be, I don't know what you call it, the no walk champion, or least amount of walks champ. He's got that locked up this year. Minimum of 500 plate appearances. You see it at the bottom.
Pops this one up out into short left field. Andrews racing out there, but it is Tochi, who, by the way, once again, so calm. It's almost like he didn't even consider that Andrews was coming out after him. One away. I mean, there was no flinch in there at all for Tochi.
No.
1 out, and it'll bring up Mitch Haniger. Haniger struck out in the first, having a great season. Takes low and outside for ball 1.
It's been really good year, as you mentioned, for Mitch Haniger, and somewhat of a breakout season. He hit 16 home runs a year ago. That was a career high. 26 this year, 285 batting average on base. Everything has gone up across the board. OPS plus of 139.
Lines this one out into left field. That one drops in for a hit. So Haniger 1 for 2 tonight. Mariners have a couple of base runners.
Mitch Haniger continues to get it done here as this fastball stayed up and in, maybe not as far in as they wanted it. Haniger does a nice job lining it into left field. But the 2 years that he has had here in Seattle has been really good for him. And remember, he's in his age 27 season. He'll be 28 in the offseason. So a late start to his career, but certainly taking full advantage of the opportunity that he has gotten. He was in that trade with Gene Segura. It's a pretty big trade. Ketel Marte, Taijuan Walker went to Arizona. Gene Segura, Mitch Haniger, and Zach Curtis came to Seattle.
So now Haniger and Segura, the top two in the lineup for Seattle. Segura came out of the ball game early yesterday, and he shoots this one out into right field, a base hit. Zunino to third, they'll stop him, and the Mariners have the bases loaded with just the one out.
Well, Gene Segura really is having a nice year. We've talked about that 300 batting average. There's a slider that stayed up. He's trying to get it down and away, but elevated enough for Gene Segura to go ahead and line it into right. But you bring up that point about yesterday. We thought maybe something had happened. We didn't hear anything. We thought maybe they're trying to protect the 301 batting average. No, not at all. Scott Service, the manager with the Mariners, said after the game that he just didn't like his hustle. And the play that he scored, he was safe. It was kind of an awkward slide, but they were not satisfied with the effort level. And there was some conversation about whether or not he would play tonight. Now, obviously, he's in the lineup and he's got 2 hits. I was looking beforehand, and 0 for 2 would have got him to 300 and still stayed at 300. It doesn't matter now. He's got 2 base hits.
Cano at the plate now, and he deals with a base full of runners. Mike Zunino at third, Haniger at second, Segura now at first. All 3 of them reached on singles. And so Cano in a great spot right here, and Cano has hit into 8 double plays this season. That's what Sampson would love to get right here. And there is a ground ball to shortstop. Quick feed to second one, the relay to first in time, double play. And so the inning is over. And we say thanks. Well done. We go to the 4th inning, 1-0 Rangers.
One to nothing. Nomar Mazara set to step to the plate, and we talked about that thumb injury for Nomar and how it's affecting him at the plate, but actually Nomar said it's affecting him more in the field, that when he puts on that glove it's painful enough as it is, and then when he takes those balls, depending on how hard they come in into the glove, it does present an entirely different pain level. But he's just said that he's going to play through the pain, would possibly address surgery in the off season, but just wanted to finish the season as strong as he possibly could, all things considered.
That makes sense too, and that's the other thing. We saw him have that misplay last night in right field, and on that glove hand, and you know something's going to hurt a little bit coming in. Wouldn't be unusual to realize that he's probably trying to catch that ball in his glove in a little bit of a different spot, knowing it might hurt a little bit, maybe try to catch it off the end a little bit more, catch it in the web, and instead of just going after it like you usually would. And you might get a little hesitant, and that certainly could lead to maybe some awkward catches, or in that since last time. It was a big spot, but some errors as well.
Well, he starts in a hole here in the 4th inning, 1-2 the count. Paxton already with 6 strikeouts tonight. The count stays 1-2. Nice fastball at 95 miles per hour.
He had 16 strikeouts back in May against the Oakland A's in a game that the Mariners actually lost. That was in 7 innings. Threw 105 pitches. It was also a career high by a lot.
Little bouncer by the mound towards second, and Mazzara beats out an infield hit. Cano did everything he could at second base, but that ball just wasn't hit hard enough, and Mazzara legs out an infield hit.
Yeah, and a lot of that had to do with where Robinson Cano was and the idea that he had to go pretty far to his right. Look where he is right there. Now, this is an interesting one because you could say that that's beating the shift, right?
Yeah.
Standard defense, and he's probably out. Good job by Nomar to bust it out of the box. And he's done a good job of that this year as far as working around the shift. Real quick on Paxton, mentioned those 16 were career high by a lot. 11 was his previous high in strikeouts. Actually, I take that back. He struck out 11 twice this year. That came after he struck out 16. So at the time, 10 was his previous high.
Well, he has that potential, obviously, to put up big strikeout numbers every time he goes out there. 0-2 the count.
It's unfortunate, right? The record's 20. We've seen it, what, 4 times? Scherzer's done it. Clemens twice. Kerry Wood. Randy Johnson technically didn't count because it went extra innings.
Okay, which is silly. But
yep, it is. Yeah, Clemens twice. Yeah, so I think we've seen it 4 times officially. He only threw 105 pitches. He had 6 outs to go. I mean, I'm super selfish. Like in that situation, I want to see it.
Yeah, a guy like that, I mean, if you've got 16 at that point, pitch counts in check. Yeah, I mean,
that's the injury issue, right? That's the one that scares you a little bit.
0-2 pitch in the dirt.
I told you I was at 2 of 4.
Yeah, you were Kerry Wood, right?
Kerry Wood watched it from the bullpen. Shane Reynolds threw a complete game that day. I think he struck out 10 of his own back in 1998. And then Clemens did it in 1996 against the Detroit Tigers. Second time he had done it. He had done it 10 years earlier.
This one tight. He goes 2-2 on Rua. For the record, you did not bat in either of those games.
Fortunately, for those guys. 19's really a good number. Something to be proud of.
It was a 2-2 pitch. Rua fights it off. Rua struck out in the 2nd inning. And so Ryan getting a start today. And we've talked about this, but the Rangers, they have a really quite an array of outfielders at their disposal. And the intent was to get all of them an opportunity to do a little playing in these last couple of weeks. There's a swing and a miss. Rua strikes out for the 2nd time. All right, let's take a moment now and hear from the folks over at Southwest Kia.
At Southwest Kia, we've made car buying easy. $250 down delivers, monthly payments $250 a month or less. SouthwestKia.com.
So 7 strikeouts for Paxton, and now Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
You do see that pitch count getting up there, though. 3 1/3, 63 pitches.
Bouncer shortstop, and they'll go to second for the 1. Cano relays to first in time for the double play. No runs, a hit, nobody left. 1-0 Rangers in the 4th. Ale. Beautiful downtown Seattle, the Emerald City. Rangers with a 1-0 lead. We invite you to entertain your guests at Globe Life Park next season for a night of hospitality in a suite. Suite rentals get you a parking pass, suite attendant, concierge service, and recognition on the center field video board. Go to texasrangers.com/suites to place a deposit on a suite rental in 2019. All right, bottom of the fourth inning here. And the heart of the order, Cruz, Span, and Seager coming up for the Mariners. Adrian Sampson working with a 1-0 lead. Brings that one low and in for a ball. Bouncer right back to the mound. Nice leaping grab by Sampson. And is lobbed to first in plenty of time. One away. So good to get rid of Nelson Cruz to start the inning. It'll bring up Denard Span. Span bounced back to the mound in the second. He's 0 for 1. Seattle with 87 wins this year, 73 losses. So a winning season of baseball this year here in Seattle. Unfortunately, not quite enough for them. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
Changeup up and away there from Adrian Sampson. I mentioned that has been a spot that we have seen him use intentionally and effectively against these left-handed hitters, but more often than not when you're thinking elevate, it's fastball only.
1-2 to count.
That's one of those things. There's certain trends in the game that we're so used to seeing. This is where you throw this pitch, this is where you throw that pitch. I do think more and more of the conversations are turning to doing some unconventional things. Now, would you want to live upstairs with your changeup? No. But could you catch a guy off guard once in a while who's not even thinking about the changeup at the very top of the zone? You might be able to, especially if it's away and it's running away from left-handed hitters. Think about that Kyle Hendricks two-seam fastball that he would throw up and in to left-handed hitters intentionally. A right-handed pitcher is very atypical, something you wouldn't be taught in a pitching one-on-one class. And he's used it very effectively. Similar to that right there.
Foul tipped that one in and out of the glove, so he stays alive.
All right, look at the target. They're a little bit more middle, so they're probably thinking, I'll get that ball to finish middle away. Now it finished inner third, which is still an effective spot. And that's one of those pitches that you're better off being right at the top of the zone or missing up. You miss a little bit down and becomes a much more hittable pitch. Isaiah's went through just about every sign that he has right there. I'm not sure what's left in the repertoire unless he wants the curveball. Slider in, no. Yes, change his mind.
1-2 pitch and a swing and a miss.
Now he definitely put that sign down earlier. We saw it. That's pretty interesting to watch, right? He shook off the 3, which is the slider in that spot. And then when he stepped off, got back on the mound, kind of left a call for the slider again, and he said, okay, yeah. Right, that's what he wanted. That's what he puts down. There's the slider. I mentioned it's been a good pitch for him. But that first set of signs when we saw kind of left, I don't know, throw at least 5 or 6 signs down. He repeated a couple of them. He definitely put the slider in there.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe for Adrian he changed his mind.
Just kind of coaxed him into it. I guess, you know, it's like you show him one. No. It's like, okay, what do you think, fastball there? Well, definitely not fastball. You say another one there. Well, definitely not that one. So then, you know, you come back around to the original suggestion. All right, looks pretty good. Good idea.
I asked Isaiah about that. We were talking to him the other day. Were you there for that one? I was asking about, are you confident enough when a guy shakes off a sign to go ahead and put that sign right back down? And catchers will do that when they're really convicted about a pitch. Let's just say it's a changeup right here. And Isaiah would have put down the changeup, but Adrian's thinking, no, fastball. And he's like, no, really think the changeup's the right pitch. And, you know, are you willing to go ahead and put down 2 in a row? He said, not really, not quite yet. Maybe with certain guys, he's starting to get a little bit closer, but He wants to keep guys in a rhythm. He doesn't want to necessarily fight with him out there. Give him a couple years. Catchers like to fight with pitchers. They think they know better.
0-2. Fouled away by Seager. He stays alive.
Whenever that would happen, whatever the sign is, and you do what you want to do, and a guy gets a base hit, I was always convinced the catcher told him what was coming, just to prove a point. And I'm sure it never happened. Well, maybe it happened a little bit.
You would.
But you start thinking about it a little bit. I bet he told him that just because he wanted to prove to me that that was the wrong pitch, that he was right and I was wrong.
Move upstairs to Seager, and he missed it. This one out into short right field. Odor was already positioned out there, puts it away. It's a 1-2-3 for Sampson. We go to the 5th, 1-0. A legendary logger for legendary moments. Rangers fans, this Bud's for you. 1-0, Rangers on top.
Now, how would you do with that?
That Ferris wheel?
Going that fast?
No. Nope.
Talking about how you don't like Ferris wheels. That is fantastic. I think they sped it up a little bit.
Maybe. I mean, I'm trying to think if I've ever been on a Ferris wheel and thought to myself, well, that was fun. I really enjoyed that little ride. And I don't know why. I look at it and they look like just a real simple.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like they're trying to make you miserable. They kind of do.
Now, you're like a thrill seeker roller coaster type?
I like roller coasters.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't. I do not. All right.
Tochi leading off this 5th inning. And he shoots this one down the right side, foul out of play.
So I mentioned that Adrian Sampson hasn't gotten very much run support. Good to see that first run go across the board. Well, that's been it, obviously. As you see the score there, 1-0. So that's 4 runs of support for him in 19 in the 3rd innings pitched so far here with the Rangers.
Tochi in the air to right. And that was a long run out there for Haniger, but he gets to it. 1 away. Well, you can take your Rangers fandom to the next level. How about owning a piece of the game? See how you can get everything from game-used baseballs to bases, as well as a lot of various autographed memorabilia. It's all available. TexasRangers.com/authentics. Now here is Delino DeShields. Delino had the base hit in the 2nd inning. One of 5 Rangers hits so far tonight. Paxton misses. No, he did not miss. That's a strike. 1-1. I thought that was a little low. Delino's average coming in was 209. He takes another strike. The on base was over 300, and he's going to probably fall short of league average in on base percentage this year, but not by too far. And I think he would be the first to tell you that it's been a struggle at times this year. There have been some tough stretches. He's had the multiple hand injuries that have cost him time to the disabled list and just interrupted any flow. And yet, still been able to get on base relatively consistently. Ground ball to shortstop, and Segura throws him out, 2 away.
So I think it's a similar story for Delino DeShields and for Elvis Andrus, right? Guys that had some really good years last year. Expectations were high this year, both from the team, the fans, and then from themselves. And then those injuries got to them early and trying to catch that flow. Now for Delino, as you mentioned, multiple injuries. Of course, with Elvis getting hit in the right elbow by Middleton. First time he had ever go in the DL. It's a real disruptor. It's tough. You press a little bit when you get back and trying to play catch up, especially. Listen, there's all kinds of pressure in this game, but you come off a really good year. You want to prove that it wasn't a fluke. For both of those guys, the injuries just really prevented that flow from happening.
Profar shoots this one between third and short. That's a base hit. And the opposite end of that spectrum might be Jurickson Profar, who has continued to get opportunity this year as people went to the disabled list.
Yeah, he really has taken advantage of it. And here is a cutter trying to go backdoor down and away. Caught a little bit of the play, but that's a nice job by Profar to go out there, get around it, and get it. He continues to make that great charge against lefties, right? That's the other part of what we've talked about. He came in tonight hitting .270 against left-handed pitching. There's a big question mark coming into the season. 181 or 188 for his career coming into the season against left-handers.
He's got a decent lead, and the other thing about that base hit right there is it gets Odor to the plate this inning. And the man on in front of him, and Rugi has the base hit his first time in, and last time up just hit a laser to the left side of the infield. Unfortunately, Seager was positioned way off the line and right in the way, was able to make the catch. 2-0. This is Seager playing kind of a third stop position. Roller on the first baseline, but foul. Has Seager always been that bald?
I don't know if it's intentional. I don't remember.
Honestly,
I don't really remember.
Because when he pulled his hat off there a moment ago, he looked a little like that cartoon character Caillou. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Like Caillou.
Whiny little kid.
Worst.
2-2 to Odor. I've always thought there are a lot of similarities with Derek Jeter and Caillou.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's facial, probably head shape. I think is where you were going with that one. But both Kyle Seager, Derek Jeter, much more likable than Caillou.
Well, certainly less whiny.
Oh, he's the worst. Couldn't wait for my youngest to get old enough where we're not watching that anymore.
A swing and a miss. Odor strikes out, and the inning is done. Rangers leave a man in the fifth. Halfway there tonight, it's 1-0.
Sampson has had a nice night so far. You see it there. 4 innings, 4 hits, no walks, no runs, 4 punch-outs. He has been locked in tonight. How about 31 strikes and 40 pitches? That is good for a 78% strike rate. League average is about 63%, so he has been filling up the zone, doing a really nice job against a tough lineup here in Seattle. In search of that first big league win, he would love to get it here in his hometown of Seattle.
Daniel Vogelbach, and he was swinging earlier tonight. Sends this one to center field, and he has a leadoff single in the 5th. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with John Radigan. Christian Yelich, what do you think?
I don't know about him, but Christian Yelich is doing a really nice job. And I got to tell you, he's turned into a pretty special player.
This one out to left field. In caught. Tochi. Plenty of room out there.
You take a look at what's going on right now in the National League, and he is favorite for NL as far as I'm concerned for the MVP this season. You see the batting average, the home runs, 36 home runs for Christian Yelich. 109 RBIs, the OPS. I don't see how he doesn't win it. This team is going to go to the postseason. You've heard me talk about it before. I don't care as much about that part, but when you have the big year and you're taking a team to the postseason, now Lorenzo Cain has a case for it as well. Saw some Sabre nerds talking about Jacob deGrom as MVP. Just stop it. He's had a great year. He's going to win the Cy Young. Come on.
Whoa. Why can't he be MVP?
Because he's going to win the Cy Young. Don't be greedy.
Ooh, everybody gets a trophy? What is this? 2nd grade?
Christian Yelich can't win the Cy Young.
He could. He pitched better.
It's going to be the Ohtani conversation.
Here's the 1-strike pitch. He'll come backer. Sampson to second. That one's high and threw into center field. Around second, Vogelbach hits the third. The third is high. And fortunately, Karams off that high bar in front of the dugout and stays in play. Otherwise, a run would have scored. Wow. Looked like an inning-ending double play and turns into a bit of a mess.
So watch Adrian Sampson here. The mistake he makes, doesn't shuffle his feet. You see how he just turns and throws it, gets under that ball, it sails on him, and then you're going to see this throw right here from Delano DeShields, over-aggressive, and not enough time for Adrian Sampson to get back there. A good low throw. They might have had a play here on Vogelbach, and luckily, as you mentioned, that ball did stay in just barely, but there was a lot of time there for Adrian Sampson. He caught that ball cleanly. You'd love to see one shuffle with his feet. Make sure you give Elvis Andrus enough time to get to the bag. Instead, he spun and threw, just like we saw with Robinson Cano from the outfield right. Didn't move his feet. And unfortunately, that cost him because that should have been an inning ender.
2 errors on the play. The first one allowed Vogelbach to third and Gordon simply to reach. Second one allowed the extra base for Gordon. That ball belted out to left field. And Tochi with a great leaping catch at the fence. Brings one back, but it's a sac fly for Haniger to tie the game. Tochi is hurt, but what a catch.
Now he is in significant pain. It looks like he is grabbing his left hip. This was an incredible catch because this ball was absolutely smoked off the bat of Mitch Haniger, and it looked like it was going to be going for extra bases. The Rangers trainers and Don Wakamatsu make their way out there, but you can see Carlos Tochi grabbing that left hip. He is in significant pain right now as Kevin Harmon attends to him. That was amazing. And the fact that obviously he got hurt pretty badly, that he had the wherewithal to get that ball in too, because obviously if he stays on the ground, 2 runs could have potentially scored. Wow, what a play by Carlos Tochi.
Well, he's had a number of incidents this year where his collision with the wall has caused him personal harm. And that's one thing that, smooth as he is, quick as he is, you'd think he might get a little, I don't know, wall aware, because that's causing him some trouble.
It is, but he didn't really have much of an opportunity to try to pace himself, to try to feel the wall out. It was a difficult decision that he had to make, and it was, are you going to go for this or are you going to play it off the wall? And he decided, his instinct said, I'm going to try to catch this ball. Second and third, tight game. And that was a tremendous, tremendous play by Carlos Tocci. I'll tell you what, I'd be shocked if he stays in, man. That was, I know he's trying to right now. Yeah. He's making the sales pitch. But the reality is, he came up hurting. I can't imagine he is at full strength right now. He may be able to stand up and the pain might be starting to go away a little bit. But the idea of actually trying to cover some ground, he's going to have to show Don Wakamatsu that he can sprint. He's doing that light jog. I think Wakamatsu is going to want to see a little bit more. But take a look at this replay. Smoke from Mitch Haniger and Carlos Tocci. One peek at the wall. He knew he had a little bit of time. You see the reaction from the Rangers bullpen. They were amazed as well. What a play.
99 miles per hour off the bat. He knew immediately. Good job of getting rid of it.
This says hit probability of 47%. No way. I know they struggle with that a little bit when they get close to the wall, and their Statcast admits that.
You said he hit probability, right? Not hip.
Heap hope.
Yeah, too soon.
Heap hope anonymous.
All right, so Gordon stays at second. The game tied on the sac fly, and now Segura. Segura, by the way, 2 for 2 today. Couple of singles off Sampson. This has been a tough out so far tonight. With this one in the air out center field, the Shields is there. Inning is over. Mariners tied the game on the sac fly, but what a great defensive play by Tocci. We go to the 6th, even at 1. Tocci with a great catch, and trying to feel a little better as Elvis Andrus heads to the plate here in the 6th inning. Elvis Andrus, Adrian Beltre, what a relationship. So much fun they have had together over the years. And entertaining fans, that's been a big part of it. I think entertaining each other. Definitely a big brother, little brother kind of relationship. Man, it's been so much fun to watch those two together. Andrus swings and misses at strike 1. And yesterday, what we see Beltre drive Elvis in twice.
I think it was 3 times.
Was it 3 times?
Or was there an opportunity for a third time?
Opportunity for a third. Paxton's 1 strike pitch. And this one out to right field. Drops in. That's a base hit. So Elvis on to start the 6th inning. We'll see if his big brother can get him home.
It's kind of what big brothers are for. 82 pitches now for James Paxton, and Adrian Beltre has had some really good swings against him tonight. He had the double, He also had that deep line out to center field, D. Gordon. Adrian very comfortable against Paxton. Paxton does have this kind of stuff, and maybe not surprising. Times through the order when you start looking at the batting average. 221 the first time, 261 the second time, but 169 third time through the order for James Paxton. A big power arm. I'm not going to say that's not surprising. It's still surprising, but it's impressive. He's got the arm to do it.
Well, no balls, 2 strikes on Beltre. Doubled in the first. Flied out in the third inning. Oh, 2. There are times, and right now is one of those times where I wonder sometimes how Adrian can see with the bill of the helmet pulled down sometimes as low as it is. One, 2. And this one in the air out to right field. Heading down that line and just foul.
Love the access to information that we have. So we talk about the pitchers all the time, right? Third time through the order. Well, we also have the ability to get the information on the hitters. And what do they do when they face that same pitcher first, second, third, and fourth time through the order? Over the course of his career for Adrian Beltre, shockingly, at least from a batting average standpoint, third time through against the same pitcher is his lowest batting average. Fourth time 291, first time 284, 299 second time, but in these situations 273 in his career. I mean, all good numbers, all in the upper 200s. And it's also the lowest OPS he has. So fourth time has been better than the third, or the first or the second.
Outside of Beltre, 2-2. I suppose the only time you're seeing a lineup fourth time through on a night is when you're absolutely locked in and dealing.
Yep.
Right, so that's part of it.
Sure. But
Anyway, in today's
fourth time.
What's that?
Batting average 291 fourth time.
Oh,
so
I
that's,
see.
you're right. You got a guy that's been pitching well. He's done good in those spots.
And Beltre strikes out. That's a 9th strikeout tonight now for Paxton. Those continue to pile up, and here comes Nomar Mazara. And Nomar's base hit in the 4th inning was a slow roller to a more of a traditional second base spot, and legged out one of those rare infield hits for him. So he takes down low ball 1. 1 for 2 tonight. This ball hit this time to where the shift had Cano placed. He'll go to second and the return in time for the double play. A 4-6-3 twin killing. So now it's the bottom of the 6th inning on the way, and we're still tied at 1. Rangers looking ahead to tomorrow, the final game of the regular season, and our forward probables. Giovanni Gallardo will have the ball for the Rangers. Nice job of his 5 career starts in this ballpark. And Roenis Elias, who has been really good in September. Only the 1 start, but the ERA sub 1. And he'll have the ball for the Mariners. So, bottom of the 6th, Robinson Cano will take outside ball 1.
If Adrian Sampson is going to get this first big league win, he is really going to have to earn it as he's going through this lineup. Now 3rd time through in the middle of this order with Cano, Cruz, and Denard Span due up. He's pitched well. He's done a really good job throwing strikes. He obviously had that 1 error that cost him a little bit. If he doesn't get the win, he'll probably be kicking himself a little bit, but he's in a fight right now. He's throwing the ball extremely well.
Yeah, hard to quibble with the way he's thrown tonight. This one off the plate. 2-1 the count now to Cano. Cano, Cruz, and Span.
Look at this nonsense right here. That is unbelievable. He had 2 6-pitch innings. Even in that 5th inning, with everything that happened, he still only threw 6 pitches.
Yeah.
How many guys did he face? 5? Yeah, 5 hitters, 6 pitches.
It's about as few pitches as you could use in that situation. 2-2.
He's gone toe-to-toe with James Paxton. Love to be able to get through this 6th at least. I mean, it's only 50 pitches total. Nobody warming up in the Rangers bullpen. 5 2/3 has been his longest outing so far with the Rangers.
Two pitch, and this one in the air out to left field. And Tochi right there, 1 away.
So the other thing you worry about a little bit here with Carlos Tochi is you keep an eye on him after that great play that he made in left field and looked like he was in significant pain, and then said he was feeling better if he starts to tighten up, right? That's the other part of it. Think about having an injury like that. He went hard into the wall. I thought for sure he was coming out of the game. He stayed in. Looked like he was walking or jogging a little bit gingerly. Seems like he's recovered, but also the idea that in between innings that could really tighten up.
Swinging a very high fly ball out to center field. The Shields waiting patiently. And 2 away. Southwest Airlines bullpen live look. You check into that Mariners pen. Nick Vincent has been sipping on something out of that cup and ostensibly even throwing out there. He could just be standing around drinking, but my guess is that he's also loosened up and is ready to pitch.
What's in the cup?
Probably water.
There's a bottle of water next to him, though.
Alka-Seltzer?
Could be if he's nervous.
Span takes off the plate, but apparently in the zone. Strike called. That one looked like it finished well off the plate, but Sampson gets a call. Sampson, the ball's been darting around just a little bit. He's had some good movement on just about everything. And started the game with 4 strikeouts in the first 4 innings. The last one came in the 4th to this guy, Denard Span. And they'll lift it out into right field, coming in for it, Mazzara, and he makes the play. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Adrian Sampson. How about that? We go to the 7th inning now. Still tied at 1.
Pitch game. It's been a tight game. Adrian Beltre drilling this double, just missed his 200th home run as a Ranger, and he ended up advancing to third. And then this great Carlos Tocci play. It turned into a sac fly, but it could have been so much more. There were runners on second and third with one out. Tocci ultimately was able to stay in the game despite being in some pretty significant pain after that play. And so it's been a tight one here. 1-1 game. The run for the Mariners is unearned as Nick Vincent now comes on. Game number 62 for the Mariners right-hander. He's done a nice job, 55 strikeouts to 15 innings. Excuse me, to 15 walks so far in his 55 in the third innings. Fastball, cutter, curveball, and a changeup for Vincent. He's got some pretty respectable splits. 217 against the lefties, 240 against righties.
So Paxton out of the game. And Rua happy about that. Did not fare well against the big Maple. A couple of strikeouts in his 2 at-bats. One 0 pitch, and that one just a little bit off the plate. So good hitters count now for Rua. Ryan has 6 home runs, 12 RBIs this year. And it's 2-1. Foul tip. Looked like it caught a piece of Marley, our umpire. I love everybody's reaction whenever they get hit. The first reaction is, no, I'm absolutely okay. Knocked me over, but I'm all right. 2-2.
Talking about hit percentage a little bit earlier, that line out for Denard Span to finish off the 6th inning. 79%.
What, hit probability for that?
Yeah, hit probability.
Full count. That last out just a moment ago?
Yeah, it was a straightaway line out. It was hit hard.
Yeah. That was a 79% chance of that being a hit.
And went 288 feet, which is somewhere in the area where your average outfielder is going to be playing as far as depth. Yeah.
Rua swings and misses. One away here in the 7th inning. Well, we know the final season at Globe Life Park coming up, 2019. Full and half season ticket plans are on sale now. And worth noting, as a 2019 season ticket holder, you'll be in line for season tickets for the new Globe Life Field, which will open in 2020. TexasRangers.com/seasons for tickets, or call 972-RANGERS. Falefa takes a strike here. Isaiah, an infield hit. It's also bounced into a double play.
How about that guitar riff that we were just hearing during that promo? It reminded me of the anthem tonight that we were treated to here in Seattle.
This ball hit well out to center field. Pete Gordon goes back, has room out there, 2 away. You enjoyed that, did you?
Mike McCready from Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Doing a little Jimi Hendrix imitation. Yeah, I did enjoy that. How about you?
That's fine.
Did you not like when he took some creative license?
I'm fine with it. I
Is
mean,
that the part that lost you a little bit?
A lot of times guitars sound like a lot of noise to me. It's, distorting everything and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's fine. I don't dislike it, but
You're more of an acoustic guitar anthem kind of guy.
that would be very nice.
Yeah.
I could see that being quite pleasant.
Maybe one acoustic guitar, one harmonica. You could probably work.
Love
it
a
out.
harmonica.
Yeah.
Harmonica would be great. This ball lined out to right field.
Did your barbershop quartet ever do the anthem?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. 1, 2, 3 in the 7th innings. We jam out here to a 1-1 tie.
Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer during the Ford SUV season. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Shiner Day Quencher Session Ale.
Okay, bottom of the 7th inning here. 1-1 ball game, and Sampson out for some more work. Kyle Seager takes up and away for a ball. And during the break, we saw this great sign, right? Love the sign, very clever. The T-shirt, that's a 10 out of 10.
That's a Hall of Fame level T-shirt right there. If lost, please return to Adrian Beltre.
Clever, I like it.
Yes.
2-0, Kyle Seager. Seager is struck out looking and popped out. Here's the thing about the guitar national anthem thing. It seems forced to me. It's like faux hip.
Even if it's the guitarist from Pearl Jam?
Yeah,
Really?
I'm like, what are we doing? It's just, that's the national anthem. It's just not a rockin' tune.
You don't think Jimi Hendrix nailed that?
He did actually. I kind of liked his version.
Okay. Good call.
But that's just it, right? It was very original. That one is outside. 3-1 to Seager. And so now every great guitarist that wants to kind of do some version of the same thing, I just feel like, well, we've done that. Somebody else did it, and he probably did it better.
But it's Seattle. It's Pearl Jam. Lead guitarist. It works.
Okay. Like I say, didn't bug me. It was just okay. This one fouled away by Seager, and it's a full count. So
you weren't overwhelmed with patriotism during it?
That's the other thing, too. I mean, I was more distracted.
Yeah. I get it.
So Seager hitless again tonight. The Mariners with just 5 hits tonight. They have the 1 run. It came in the 5th inning, but really aided by 2 errors in the inning. 3-2 pitch, and this one out towards center field, slicing away from DeShields, and even with his great speed, he can't get to it. Seager will drop anchor at second base with a leadoff double.
Well, you know, it's been a struggle for Kyle Seager this year, but we saw a lot of pitches away. You can see it in this at-bat and really the entire night. He was finally able to get to one, expanded the zone a little bit, didn't like a call earlier in the at-bat, and he's able to get enough of this one to drive it out of Delino DeShields' reach. And so now Adrian Sampson, as good as he has been, and he's been great tonight, he's got some work to do with the leadoff double.
See Kiner Falefa out there to chat with him for a moment. The thing about Vogelbach is he has been hyper-aggressive against him in his first 2 at-bats.
He's only saw 2 pitches. And so that's something that you got to keep in mind. So, all right, listen, this guy's hacking early. And the bottom 3 hitters combined have only seen 12 pitches. So they're all coming out. So that means you have that conversation. You see the changeup there first pitch, and that's not a bad idea at all. Go off speed, see if you can get him out front, see if you can take advantage of that aggressiveness, shoot for a corner, especially in an RBI situation. That's 12 pitches and 6 at-bats between the bottom 3 hitters.
Swinging again and lifts this one out into right field. Mazzara is there. And that is out number 1. Time for Chevy game break. Let's say hi again to John Radigan.
Hello, Dave.
All right, so the Rockies, who had won 8 in a row, but having trouble tonight. Zunino 1 for 2 steps in. A man at second, 1 out. And he takes a little bit in.
This is getting amazing. There is a pretty good chance that we are going to go into tomorrow with both a tie in the National League West based on that Rockies game right now, and there is already a tie in the National League Central.
Back at second base, Seager not going anywhere. No, that, on the last day of the season, to have two divisions tied will be awesome. And it will even be better if it remains that way through the final day of the season. And we have
all play again on Monday.
Because Lord knows, I'll need something to do. The 1-0 pitch. This one fouled over the right side, out of play.
And the thing that's really unfortunate for the National League this year, right? The American League is completely settled. The National League wildcard game is first. That's on Tuesday. And the National League Division Series starts first. So the time, if we do get to that point, where if the divisions aren't settled, even if it's one, you play Monday, and then that wildcard game is Tuesday, and then the Division Series starts Thursday. And then Friday's the greatest day of the year, because we get 4 playoff baseball games.
Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Go down to second. Seager gets back in there. Kenneth left is showing off that arm.
That's a good strong throw from Isaiah. A smart time to do it. You take that chance a little bit. Where Rugi is playing. Take a look at this throw right here. Isaiah, be careful there too with that interference. Can you call it on the back pick, or is it just on a stolen base? I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen it, but
had Zunino gotten in the way?
Been in 2-2 the count on Zunino. I gotta believe it would be.
I don't know, a back pick, right? It's one thing when you're a guy stealing, trying to advance. Well, Mike Zunino, after the 4 strikeouts in his first 4 at-bats yesterday, hasn't struck out in his last 3 plate appearances. He is about due.
2-2 pitch and a bouncer wide of the bag at third. Profar makes some friends.
So Mike Zunino's got an opportunity here. Runners in scoring position. This is in the American League lowest average in these spots, a minimum of 100 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. Second lowest for Zunino at 149. D. Gordon 5th in the American League. So there have been some struggles there. Adrian Sampson certainly would like that to continue right now. Here in a big spot, tie game in the bottom of the 7th.
Time called. 1-1 the score here tonight. This has been a good one. Paxton was sharp and then turned it over to Nick Vincent for the Mariners. Adrian Sampson working here with the 7th inning. He's had it the whole way. Two to Zunino. And that's high. Well, might be getting to that point. Oh, Sampson, this will be number 70 on the night for him.
He's earned it so far. 6 1/3, longest outing in the big leagues this year. He had 3 games in the minor leagues in which he threw 7 innings. It's the most he's thrown all season long.
Big payoff on the way. And a high fly ball. Left field. Tochi, plenty of time to get in position. 2 away.
Say what you want about the pitcher win and the way that we use it to evaluate pitchers, and there's a very fair conversation. It is not the best way to evaluate what kind of season a pitcher may or may not be having. But with that being said, you know Don Wakamatsu would love to be able to get Adrian Sampson his first big league win. You want those wins as a pitcher. There's a memory there for you, even though it's not the greatest evaluation tool. So if he can get through this inning, somehow the Rangers could get him another run, he'd have that opportunity. I think they're going to give him every chance they can within reason.
First pitch swinging. Gordon yanks that one foul. A little long strike.
And this would be a special one too, because he goes up against James Paxton. He stayed in the game longer than Paxton, even though Paxton had all those strikeouts. You know, how deep you get in the game is another source of pride for pitchers, even though that's getting further and further away from what we're seeing, this trend.
This one ends up in the seats again. 0-2 the count on Gordon.
I tweeted that out earlier today, just as far as what we have seen so far, not so far, but over the last few years in regard to who's leading the league with innings. 250. Last time we saw that was 2011. The last time we saw more than 240, 2014. Haven't seen it since. Last time we saw 230 was 2016. We will not see 230 innings from any pitcher this year. And there's an outside chance that that number may never be reached again. Hard to believe.
Gordon going after everything right now. Stays 0-2.
We definitely won't see 250 again. That's Justin Verlander. That's gone. 251 in 2011.
You don't think it'll ever happen again?
I don't think we're going to see 240 again. I really don't.
Really?
And the guys that are capable, Max Scherzer types, as they get a little bit older, those huge contracts, they're just not going to get pushed. They may have the total number with the postseason.
Right.
I don't think you're going to see it in the regular season.
This one lined out to right field, base hit, and that's going to score a run. Seager's in. Gordon with great speed, round second. He's going for 3. Here comes a throw, not in time. D. Gordon with an RBI triple, and he's given Seattle the 2-1 lead. And Don Wakamatsu is going to have to go get Adrian Sampson. Boy, that's tough. Sampson pitched so well today. It'll be the 9th place hitter, D. Gordon, in the 7th inning to ruin the good effort. Who's in, who's out pitching change, sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. Connor Sadzik, the guy who is in. Adrian Sampson, great night tonight. He's out. We'll be back in a moment. Inning. And we invite you to, show your spirit year-round. Stock up on some Rangers gear at our team stores. Check it out, Rangers Team Store in Fort Worth at Sundance Square, or you can walk on into the majestic Grand Slam gift shop inside Globe Life Park. Hours in store information all online, TexasRangers.com/retail.
Did we ever find out, do they sell those sleeveless velour pullovers that Elvis had on the other day?
I don't know. Let's see if Emily, are you aware one way or the other?
So listen, I got to the bottom of the
Okay.
Elvis Andrus slayering, and it turns out he did, in fact, cut the sleeves off of one of those jackets.
Nice. Was
So
it a
those
police
don't
pullover?
exist. No, it's one of those heavy jackets
Come
that
on.
they let me. I promise.
Did they sew the arms?
No, I don't know, but
'Cause it
he
looked pretty
said-
smooth.
Yeah, he cut it. He cut the arms off.
He's trying to start his own line?
Oh, listen, let me tell you, the fashion tips I've gotten from that man over the years. He's trying to start something, that's for sure.
Gun show jackets by Elvis?
I mean, the man likes to be warm, but if we can get a shot of Robinson on the bench, that's the jacket.
Chirinos or
Chirinos. So Chirinos is wearing the jacket that Elvis cut the arms off of. I mean, not the exact one, but You know what I mean?
Oh, so he has a line. So he's not the only one. Elvis has one, and now Robinson Trinos
No. I'm just saying that's the jacket.
Oh,
it has
gotcha.
sleeves on it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. But Elvis chose to cut those sleeves off.
That's not a thin jacket.
It is not a thin jacket. And he
can't just
had
do that
on
with
a
a standard pair of
sweatshirt
scissors.
underneath, and I don't know what he's got going on, Elvis.
You could wear it to the beach with nothing underneath, right? That's the option, I guess.
Well, I thought it looked good.
You probably are ruining a pair of scissors when you do that. To get through that, as thick as that thing is.
Well, I mean, it definitely begs the question. I want to know more about how he did it.
I want to see somebody wear it with only the jacket on.
Sadzik's 3-0. And that's ball 4. So he puts Haniger aboard here. And the Mariners have him on the corners.
I believe that's the first walk in this game, if I'm not mistaken. No walks by Seattle pitching tonight. Adrian Sampson did not walk a batter. Yeah, first walk of the night.
And Doug Brocale, with that in mind, heads out to have a word with Sadzik. First and third, 2 out. Bottom of the 7th. It's a 1-run game.
We're kind of tracking the Gene Segura chase for 300 this year. The couple of hits that he has tonight, now he's up to 303. He's in pretty safe territory. 0 for 2 would have kept him at 300. But you add 2 more hits. Figure that buys you, what, 7 or 8 at bats.
Because even let's say he goes hitless here and hitless in 4 at bats tomorrow.
Yeah,
he should be in pretty good shape.
And based on the fact that his manager took him out of the game for lack of hustle, he's probably not doing him any favors either.
Now Segura in there at the right side. He does have some power, and he takes a good fastball on the inside corner. Sadzik has not allowed an earned run in his first 12 big league appearances now. And that is the longest such streak to begin a career in Rangers history. The runner at third, not his. That's D. Gordon. Haniger at first base is his responsibility. This one lined into right field. That's a base hit. Gordon scores. That one charged to Sampson, though. 3-1 Seattle.
Gene Segura is just a really good hitter. He knows he's dealing with high velocity, and so he keeps the swing short, lines this ball to right field. He's able to drive that run in, and Don Wakamatsu is out. Connor Sadzik's night is over after just 2 hitters.
A walk and a base hit. He's done. Wakamatsu will look to Alex Claudio here in the 7th inning.
Nice job by Adrian Sampson. After 3 hits in the inning, he gets Robinson Cano to ground into this standard 6-4-3 double play, something the Rangers have done so well this season. 150, no, check that, that's the other team. 167 double plays turned by the Rangers this year, and Adrian Sampson, who made a lot of great pitches tonight, that was a big one. He was keeping the Mariners at bay. They've broken through, though, here in the 7th inning, and now Alex Claudio will come on for the Rangers. Game number 65 for Alex. Those 41 strikeouts, 13 walks. He's done a good job with the fastball, slider, changeup, has Alex so far this season. Alex got some good numbers once again against lefties. .236 batting average against those lefties this season.
Well, Cano's been accommodating tonight. 0 for 3. Strike out, the double play, the fly out. And he backs away from a pitch right down the middle of the plate.
I gotta tell you, it feels good to be in the club.
The club?
Yeah. You and Emily had your own club. Big vocabulary club. I wasn't going to be left out.
Excellent work on your part.
We all use that word tonight.
Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2 on Cano.
What an uncomfortable swing from Robinson Cano. We know this about Alex Claudio because of the usage of that 2-seam fastball and the changeup. He sweeps the breaking ball there. He gets a lot of uncomfortable swings.
Well, no balls, 2 strikes. Claudio trying to put the 7th inning to rest. And Cano takes in the dirt. 1-2. Well, your application will be under review. We'll get back to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Take a look at this pitch here. You don't see it happen too often. Even though he missed his spot, it looked like he might have caught the strike zone. Fox Tracks had it in the zone. Cano, by the way, 3 for 14 in his career against Alex Claudio. That's a .214 batting average. He has struck out a couple of times, but he does have a home run against Alex.
A crowd of nearly 32,000 here tonight. 31,780 the announced crowd. Well, bouncer up the middle, and that one is through for Cano. Haniger is in. Segura goes to 3rd, and Seattle now leads 4-1. That run charged to Connor Sadzik.
A tough break there for Alex. He made a good pitch. Hit a couple of strikes on Robinson Cano, and he got weak contact, and that's the name of the game, right? We know Alex is not a huge swing and miss kind of pitcher. He tries to get hitters to hit the top half of the ball. He absolutely got it right there from Cano, but he got lucky as far as where he hit it, right back up the middle. Good effort by Rougned Odor. Couldn't quite get to this one. At least trying to knock it down to save that run. You see the frustration there from Alex Claudio, but that really is just more about some bad luck.
Now Nelson Cruz, who is 0 for 3 to this point of the game, and he takes on the inside corner, strike 1. Four runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Mariners. And they still have runners on the corners here. 1-2 the count. Rangers 1 run on 7 hits. They've made 2 errors tonight. Cruz last year with 39 home runs. Just shy of that 40 mark. It would have been 4 straight years for him at 40 or more home runs had he hit just the 1 more. This year at 37 home runs. We mentioned this the other night. That's now 5 straight years with 35 or more for Nelson Cruz. And that puts him in some pretty elite company. Pitch on the way, and he goes down and scoops this one deep out to left field. Tochi has a beat on it though, and the inning is over. Mariners will have to settle for the 3 runs. They leave a pair. When we come back, Delano DeShields will lead it off for the Rangers. They need to crank up the offense now, down by 3.
Which is powered by AWS, as you see D. Gordon. And check him out on this triple. A sprint speed of 29.54, well above league average. His home to third, 10.96, just 0.10 of a second. Is that right? Did I read that right? Is it 0.10 of a second? First decimal is 0.10, right? I think so.
1/10
of a second. Yeah.
And then a lot of numbers there.
Yeah, there was.
He's really fast.
He had a triple and he ran really hard.
Yeah. That is layman's AI. All right, well, all that running, he's going to get a little break. Guillermo Heredia takes over in center field. And now D. Gordon can just manage the infield over there at second. Robinson Cano, and we've seen more of this since he returned from suspension. He takes over at first base. And it'll be interesting in the offseason to see what the Mariners formulate as a plan going into next season. There's some talk that maybe that would be a place for Cano.
It could be a possibility. I think it all depends on what other offseason moves they have in them. Nelson Cruz will be part of that equation, but then also if there's an opportunity, I guess, essentially, if you're trying to add to your team from outside the organization, where can you best do that? If you can add a center fielder, then you go ahead and you put D. Gordon at second and Robinson Cano at first. If you can add a second baseman or a first baseman for that matter, then maybe you move the guys around.
Ball and a strike to DeShields. And Colomé, this one bounced over the mound. Barehand attempt by Segura, but it's never going to be in time. DeShields with an infield hit.
Well, Delano will certainly take that using the great speed, even though he did not hit that ball very hard. At this point, whatever it takes to get some runners on with the Rangers down by 3. Chop this one, no chance at all for Colomé, really no chance for Segura either. Go ahead and put that ball in your back pocket with that man running.
So DeShields with the great speed. Over at first base now, 20 steals this year in 24 tries. And that one, a high strike call to Profar. Jerks his body language, saying everything he needs to communicate. 1 for 3, a base hit his last time up. This one, a bouncer. Right side, D. Gordon bobbles. No play. Boy, what started off as a brilliant stop ended up an infield hit. And for a moment there, I think Gordon may be thinking a little too large, thinking about going for two.
Well, he's thinking double play. It would have been a tremendous job, and he had to hurry the throw. That's the effect of Delino DeShields running so hard, is that D. Gordon realizes it's got to be a quick release, bobbled the ball trying to do it, bobbled it again as he realized, okay, let me just try to get it out at first. He couldn't do that either.
So DeShields at second, Profar at first, and Odor represents the potential tying run. Colomé puts that one on the outside corner, strike one.
Yeah, Rugi didn't like it, but the reality is the consistency of the calls tonight have been there, especially from right-handed pitchers. We have seen the outside part of that strike zone, the left-handed hitters really get opened up. This ball's off the plate. Look at the movement from Zunino. That tells you all you need to know. He knew it wasn't a strike, but the wide strike has been called this evening.
One strike pitch, and Rugi bounces this one first base, backing up Cano, and he will feed Colomé for the first out of the inning. Both runners advance, though. Shields at third. Profar at second base on the fielder's choice for the putout.
They did give Jerks a base hit on that, right?
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Elvis now. Got a base hit his last time up. 2-minute scoring position for him here. And the first one in the dirt.
Thought for a second, my peripheral, that the Millennium Falcon was making its way here. Did I have that right? What was the name of that ship?
In Star Wars?
Yeah.
The Millennium Falcon? That would,
Yeah.
That would have been the
Or was
Han
that Star-
Solo's
Yeah.
junker, right?
Or was that Star
Or was it
Trek?
Star Trek?
Either way, I'm counting on you. This is an area I thought that you would have expertise.
No clue.
Anyway, what it is the roof's closing. But I mean,
Your
it
insult
moves.
though is registered.
I thought after you got barbershop quartet practice, you watched a couple of Star Wars.
1-1 on Andrews. Star Wars. Boy, how would that work?
Bum bum bum. It's time to watch. I don't know.
Andrews, 1 for 6 against Colomé.
It's amazing how quiet that roof is when it closes. Like slow moving, doesn't make a peep.
One of the least talkative roofs in the league. You know, this bouncer left side, and they're going to call interference on Profar.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
And that is unfortunate. He was in his established baseline.
And so Delino has to go back to third. That's the worst part of this.
Yeah. Man.
Tony Beasley trying to get an argument in here, but the reality is that this is on Jurich and Profar. He has got to avoid the defender in that spot. Now, it's kind of tough because you have Seager behind you, but Jurickson just ran right in front of him. And that is a pretty clear example of what that interference looks like.
It's a targeting penalty, 15 yards. So tough break. Shields at third, Profar retired, and Andrews safe at first on the fielder's choice. So that one goes down. And put out, credited to the third baseman Seager.
So with this fielder's choice, 5 unassisted?
Yeah. And so now Adrian Beltre. Boy, that costs a run. 1 for 3 tonight. Beltre swings and misses at strike one. Now Beltre tomorrow, the expectation is he'll be in the lineup. Wakamatsu today said the plan is, if he gets through everything okay here tonight, is the DH, that he would play in the field. And Wak also mentioned that Beltre will probably be taken out of the game early tomorrow, similar to the way he was taken out Sunday back at home. It's this ball in the air out to right field. Haniger has room though, and he makes the catch. Rangers leave a couple on in the top of the 8th. Last of the 8th coming. It's 4-1 Seattle.
A score of 4-1 here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it is time for Built for Baseball, which is brought to you by T-Mobile. And we know this about Adrian Beltre. He is very much built for this game, and another good night for Adrian. He's put some good swings together this evening. He looked a little frustrated after that last flyout, but he had that double back in the first inning, drove in a run, also had the hard line out to center. Opportunity as the potential game-tying run in the last inning, but retired on the flyout, so we go now to the bottom of the 8th.
And Brandon Mann, whose contract was purchased yesterday before the ball game and added to the roster for the Rangers, a Seattle native. He was here at home. Rangers felt like they could add a little bit to that bullpen just in case, and here he is. He had been working out and continuing to throw even though the season was done, and that worked out beautifully for him.
It's actually pretty surprising. Usually you're going to take a week or so to yourself, if not more. Some guys will go through what they call an active rest period unless they know they're going to win a ball or something that could be coming up sooner than later. So, as you mentioned, smart move by Brandon Mann, even though he hits Denard Span here with this breaking ball.
Well, you said an active rest period? Is that what you call that?
So it all depends on the strength coach and the organization and how they treat it. Some guys will just take time off. Might just take a week where you do nothing. Some guys don't like to even have that because your body will break down after the long season. And so an active rest period means you're not training yet. You haven't started your off-season program, but you might stay busy with some activity. Ride the bike once in a while, or just kind of sit and get stiff and get uncomfortable. You may do that for a few weeks before you start your full-time off-season program. There's so many different ways to go about it, but it all depends on the player, really. For postseason guys that would go to the postseason regularly, sometimes they would take it easy until December 1st. Play late into October, use that time afterwards to recover any injuries that you're dealing with, try to get that stuff all taken care of. Let your body recover after a longer than usual season. I was younger, I wouldn't throw until January 1st. As I got older, that became more and more difficult. Start a lot earlier.
So you had the longer active rest period after the season. 1-2 the count on Seager. What happens? Well, let's say you do have, I don't know, an injury per se, but you're working your way back from something or other, and you just need a little maintenance. Normally you go to the training room and get some work done during the season. When you go home then to whatever dusty little hamlet you're from, what do guys do? The team get in touch with somebody?
You find a local PT, physical therapist, that will have the treatments that you need if it's nothing too significant. If it's something that requires a smaller surgery, you get it done right away. A little cleanup maybe.
1-2 to Seager. Way off the plate. 2-2 the count. So Mann, he's from went to high school just a little south of here, I believe. The high school, Mount Rainier High School. And is it Des Moines? How do you guys say that around here? Des Moines. They pronounce the S here. Des Moines, Washington. Right in the Seattle metro area. Swing and a miss, and Seager strikes out, one away. Emily, you've been to Des Moines?
I have not been to Des Moines or Des Moines, but I do know about the call-up story from Brandon Mann, which was a complete and total shock to him. He said he had been staying in shape and continued to throw at Driveline, the academy that he works at out of here, but he hadn't faced live hitters, was not expecting the call-up. So when he got it at about, he said 10:30 on Wednesday night, he said he was in shock, but obviously grateful for the opportunity to pitch here in front of his family so close to home. So many of them didn't get to make it when he was here last time, so this gave him one more opportunity to see Brandon in action. Of course, 16 years in the minor leagues. Some of those family members and friends have been waiting quite some time.
That's a great story. And listen, you go home and your season's over, you don't get that September call-up. There's some disappointment there, but you're also pretty convinced that you can start your off season and there's no reason to maybe stay in top throwing shape.
Ground ball, second base, Odor to second one. On to first in time, double play. And so Mann gets a twin killing, puts up a goose egg in the 8th. Now last chance coming for the Rangers when we return. Nomar Mazar will lead it off when we come back. Here tonight, looking at our progressive upcoming schedule. Tomorrow, the finale of this series and the final game of the 2018 season. And who knows what that means for Adrian Beltre. We expect him in the starting lineup tomorrow at third base. And his ranks among third basemen all time. Nobody with more hits on that third base position. 2,758 games at third. Second all-time to Brooks Robinson. His home runs third best ever. Emily Jones, a great interview with him tomorrow on Rangers Live. You'll want to tune in for that. Rangers Live begins at 1:30 tomorrow here on Fox Sports Southwest. Edwin Diaz on in the 9th inning, and it's a safe spot with his team up by 3.
It's been a monster season for this guy. Game number 73. Look at the strikeouts. 121 of those in 72 in the 3rd inning so far this year. 17 walks. That is it to go along with those 121 strikeouts. It's fastball, slider, changeup from Diaz, and it is a pretty big fastball. Live arm, the fastball averaging this year right there, that number, 97 miles per hour.
Oh, 0-2. The count on Nomar Mazara. Maz 1 for 3. Ryan Rua would be due next, although Willie Calhoun in the on-deck circles if he would pitch hit. And then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Starts though with a big chill. He has to find his way on. And he swings and misses, and a strikeout starts the 9th inning. Away. All right, let's take a moment and check in with the folks over at Kia.
At Kia, get America's best value backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty.
What a year it has been for Edwin Diaz. And he gets his crowd into it. When he comes on, they get pretty jacked up as the first pitch to Calhoun taken away inside for ball 1. Diaz 4 times this year named the American League Reliever of the Month.
You can see how special this guy is. I mean, that is cheddar at 99 miles an hour right down the middle. And for Willie Calhoun, this is not much of a treat to come off to the bench and have to face.
1-2 to count. Yeah, look at those velocities. All 99s. Here it comes. And a swing and a miss. That one at 100. Back-to-back strikeouts for Diaz. And the Rangers are down to their final out.
Well, this is a difficult pinch hit situation for Willie Calhoun. You see the elevation on the fastball. He swings well under it. It's a really tough pitch to get to with 2 strikes.
So Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and you've pointed it out, is he one of the guys who handles high velocity well, and he's going to see it here. That one at 100 just off the plate.
He does a good job being short to the ball, especially taking it the other way. There's some room out there in right field for that base hit.
Outside again, 2-0. You see Adrian Sampson, and 6 2/3 tonight. Allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. 2 of the runs were earned. No walks, 4 strikeouts, and I don't know that the line really even does justice. It's a good line, but I don't know that it really gives you a good enough picture of how well he did throw. 3-0 now to count.
I agree, and not even that he ran out of gas in that 7th inning, just some base hits, good lineup, tough to hold them down. Had that opportunity on that ball that was hit back to him.
Strike to Kiner-Falefa, 3-1. This one on the ground, second base, and through into center field, and Kiner-Falefa is aboard. Dean Gordon looked like he handled that as fundamentally as you could. Went down to a knee, the whole thing, and it just stuck right past him.
No, certainly not what you expect to see from D. Gordon. Now he's done that back and forth between center field and second base. Started this game in the outfield, but this looked pretty routine. Just did not get that glove down.
E4. Inning continues.
The ball hopped up on him actually a little bit more than expected.
So Guzman pinch hitting here for Carlos Tocci, and he takes low and in. Cano with a short visit.
He might be telling Diaz just to let him know that he's going to play kind of halfway behind Isaiah Connor for left and make sure to throw over to first.
Right down the middle, 98 miles per hour. It's 1-1 on Guzman. This one inside and gets away.
That hit him, didn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think that's live. That's a wild pitch. It's interesting because I think there was some confusion.
Guzman thinks that ball hit him.
Second base.
Guzman's 100% convinced this ball hit him. Let's take a look here.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I got him on the foot.
Yeah, they're gonna challenge us. 100%. They appealed down to third to see if he swung.
Yeah, and then plate umpire Mike Marley, he was indicating, hey, that thing's live.
Take a look at this one more time from the side. Watch that left foot of Ronald Guzman right there.
Yep.
See his whole shoe move.
He was absolutely going to be on. So this one under review at the moment. Forward replay challenge, and I'm going to go ahead and just write it in because I know how this one ends.
Me too. I already did it. We know. The guy in the middle knows. Look at his face. He knows.
Yeah. The call on the field was a wild pitch. And it will not take them long. Obviously, here we go. Yep. Go to first base. Hit by pitch. So 2 men on, and you know, don't look now, but the potential tying run at the plate now, and it's Joey Gallo.
So the last blown save for Diaz came on August 18th against the Los Angeles Dodgers, but that was just a one-run blown save. What a great time for number 41.
Yeah. That one a little bit low and in. Joey 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter. The one, well, it was a home run against Seattle. It was last weekend back at our place. And won the count. It was on Sunday. Came in the 8th inning. In that ball game, the Rangers won 6-1. It was off Ryan Cook. Here's the 1-1. A little bouncer. Right side, and there will be no play. Everybody's safe. An infield hit, and now the tying runs are on base.
Well, that's Joey Gallo beating the shift, even though he didn't hit it hard. D. Gordon was played deep in the outfield. There's absolutely no chance. Look where D. Gordon is. How about this?
Yeah.
That's where we should hit it. Just hit it over there.
So Profar now, and Jurickson. This is interesting. You have the bases loaded. Look at that at the bottom there. 3 for 4 against Edwin Diaz. Had a good night tonight. Another multi-hit game. And facing a reliever who's been so dominant this year, but for whatever reason, a guy that Profar sees well. 1-1 the count. Outfield very deep. Two out here in the 9th inning. Jurickson takes on the corner. 1-2.
Tough call there for Jurickson Profar. If you look at those last two pitches, both of them on the corner or maybe even a little bit off. Check out the Fox tracks, right? You saw number 2 there, a little bit inside. That one really, really close. Diaz so far hasn't thrown anything over the middle of the plate, not even remotely close.
Bouncer foul, stays 1-2. Well, Kiner Falefa reached on a 2-out error by D. Gordon. Guzman was then hit by a pitch, and Gallo reached on an infield hit. The 1-2. And Profar stays alive. Rangers did this several times yesterday in the middle to late innings. Tying runs up to the plate over and over again. Couldn't quite get it done. And tonight in the 9th inning. Great opportunity in front of Profar. The 1-2 pitch, and that one is inside. It's 2-2. Profar base hits in his last 2 at bats today. He's 2 for 4. Fights off yet another. The Rangers did spoil a game for Edwin Diaz back in late May. We were here, I'd say it was like May 29th. When they got to him, but not this time. Diaz gets a strikeout of Profar and puts an end to the Rangers' rally in the 9th inning. They leave the bases loaded and fall short tonight, 4-1 the final score.
Yeah, they made their effort. It was a good try by the Rangers, and Adrian Sampson turned in a good outing, but ultimately they fall short here against the Mariners.
So tomorrow, one last shot, the final game of the season. Stay with us. So John Radigan, Mark McLemore, and David Murphy back in the studio. I have all the player reaction and breakdown from this one tonight. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Stay tuned. More coverage of Rangers baseball right after these words.